Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you.
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they were all against it. It's just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states, let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in, they talk about that. But here's the deal: there's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion
is anybody else finding this just really sad?
The states are voting.
It really, I
in
find
many
it
cases,
really sad.
it's
horrible.
frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases,
This man's
it's the
on death
opposite.
row, and all
But
I see
they're
is
voting,
like
and
elders
it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back.
Shut up about Reagan, for real.
This gives it the vote of the people.
Oh, he's their go-to.
Reagan's not even here in 2024.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I don't
Look at him.
Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor.
His
Second
brain's
time
like
is
trying to
between the
process.
doctor and an extreme situation.
Which drugs do they
The third
have
time is
them
between
on?
the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run.
We have to remember he was a vice
Again,
president of
the
the
former
guy
governor
who
of
in
Virginia
2007
put the
told
baby down,
Planned
then we decide
Parenthood
what to
that
do with
he
it. So
would
he's
make
willing
national
to, as we say,
abortion
rip the baby out of the
legislation,
womb
and
in
then
the 9th month and kill
didn't.
the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance.
Well, I'm in the middle of nowhere, so my internet is so bad. I'm doing everything I can to just keep the stream going. I've got plenty to say.
You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? In fact, if
you guys see any
MAGA
viewers?
Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress.
I don't know. I don't know how that
pass a
works.
universal ban
Look,
on
the
abortion.
viewers-
Period.
I've got
Across the
about
board
100
for 6
people
weeks
watching mine
7
or
8
so, and
They're
on
out
Twitter,
there.
Very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that
and
bill?
maybe
I'll
1,000
veto
on
it. He'll
YouTube
sign it.
at the moment. So
Let's turn
Terrence,
to the issue of
can you
immigration
go
and
in the
border
background?
security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border.
Oh,
Uh,
those should come
overwhelming
in.
border states and
There we go.
overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked
Jenny
very hard to get a bipartisan agreement
Barrett says
not
that
only
she would like
changed
to
all of
join
that,
as well.
We made sure that we are
Hi,
in a
Jenny.
situation where you had no
Hey, Jenny.
circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly increased.
Is anyone
By the way,
else
the Border Patrol
terrified of the
endorsed
thought
me,
that one of these
endorsed
guys
my
might actually
position.
win?
In
Yeah.
addition to that,
Yeah.
we found ourselves in a
It's just
situation
really
where when he was
sad.
president,
We
he
all
was
are.
taking
Thing.
babies
I mean,
from
it's a
their
crazy
mother,
time to
putting them
be
in
alive.
cages, making sure they were, the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border legally. It's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with border patrol and more.
Yeah, that was a
asylum officers.
Freudian slip.
President Trump?
I
Oh
really don't know what
gosh,
said at
he
the end
said
of
the
that sentence.
quiet part
I don't
out
think he knows what he
loud.
said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do is leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest
like
number of
the people
terrorists coming into our
competing right
country
now.
All terrorists,
For-
all
for
over the world,
terrorists.
not
This
just
is
in
the
South
same-
America, all
this
over
is
the
the
world. They come
same
from the
script.
Middle East, everywhere, all over the world. They're pouring in, and this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to
have
Border
to say,
Patrol,
though,
who
that
is
Biden put
great.
in
And
more
by the
Did
way,
he just
endorsed
call
me
him
as
Brandon?
president, But I won't say that. But they endorsed me for president.
Did he call him Brandon?
Just speak to him. But we have the safest
You're
border in
all-
history.
Brandon, just
We have the
speak to
worst border
him.
in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in
Thank you,
caravans.
President Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed 3 American soldiers.
What?
Killed 3 American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through.
What is he on about?
In their prisons. We're
Yeah,
not
what is he
saying
even
welcome
talking
to
about?
But you
Does
know
anybody
what?
know?
They don't
Simply
have
there's
to
no
make
data
any sense because
supporting
they're the
what he said.
presidential
Once again,
debate.
he's exaggerating. He's lying.
Is this real?
President Trump,
This is
staying on the
real. We're in
topic
real
of
life.
immigration, you said you're gonna
Technically,
carry out
no.
the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you
Our
will
border is
deport
such a
every
disgrace, and I'll be
undocumented
honest with you, it has
immigrant
nothing
in
to do with
America,
either one of them
including
are
those who
talking
have
about.
jobs,
I
including
got a
those
friend who's
whose
living in Costa
spouses
Rica
are
now,
citizens,
or
and including
had to
those who
come
have lived
back.
here for decades? And if so,
He's got a
how
wife
would
and
you
a
do it?
child there.
Just one
and
second.
He
said we
can't get
killed
them
3
here,
people.
and he can't go
People
there.
we killed
It's, you know, I mean,
al-Baghdadi
you want to talk
and
about family
Soleimani,
values. What
the
are we
2
doing?
greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the
You-
world.
you
and
could-
it had a huge impact
you could end
on
the border
everything, not
crisis
just border,
tomorrow
on everything.
if
He's the one that
legislators
killed people
would
with a bad
just
border, including
enact
hundreds
and
of
enforce
thousands of people
really
dying,
harsh
and
penalties
also killing
on
our
wealthy
citizens
people
when they
who
come
entice
in.
these people to
We
come
are
and then
living
employ
right
them when
now
they get
in a
here.
rat's nest.
I mean,
They're killing our people
If
in
they,
New
they
York,
wouldn't
in
come here
California,
if
and
people weren't
every
offering them
state in the
jobs. You
union,
can't blame
because
them
we
for
don't have
coming.
borders anymore. Every
Well,
state
arrest
is
the
now a
people
border.
that are employing
And
them.
because of his ridiculous, insane,
Well, you're
reverse
screwed on all
policies,
sides. You know, you've
people are
got the
coming in and
companies
they're
that are
killing our
importing people.
citizens
You've got
at
the
a
U.S.
level we've never
government
seen. We call
pushing
it migrant
coups
crime.
and
I
death
call it
squads in
migrant
South America that
migrant
you're
crime.
running
They're
from.
killing
And
our
then on top of
citizens
it,
at
the
a level
huge
that we've
amount of
never
money that
seen
the prison
before.
industrial
And you're
complex
reading
makes
it
off of
like these
immigrants.
3
It's way
incredible young girls
too
over the last few
lucrative to
days.
fix.
One of them I just spoke
Which
to
is why that'll
tonight.
never happen.
And
You know,
he
Hey,
just
hey,
had the funeral
Silas.
for this girl, 12 years old. This
All
is
it is
horrible
blaming poor
what's
people
taking
for being
place.
poor.
What's
For
taking
whatever
place
reason
in
they're
our
poor.
country, we're literally an uncivilized country now.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't want it to be. He
uncivilized
just
country.
doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He
Trump
doesn't
never
care. He
did
doesn't like the
anything for
military
the
at all.
veterans.
And he doesn't care about our
Neither
veterans.
do
Nobody did
you.
worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got
You'd
through
think in the
Congress, all
week
of the
that they
different
worked
things
on
I
that, the
approved,
one thing
they
they could have
abandoned.
done is
We have
worked
by
on
far the
Biden's
highest, and now
open
it's
mouth
down in less than
dumbass
half
face.
because he's
Like
done
the
all these
whole
great
I'm
things that we
confused
did.
about the
And I think
words
he
that
did it
I'm
just because I
hearing,
approved
right?
it, which
Face has
crazy.
just gotta
But he has
go.
killed so many people at our
Yeah.
border by
Thank you,
allowing
President
all
Trump.
Like
of
he
these
always
people to
looks
come in.
confused. He's
It's a
always got
very
his
sad
mouth
day,
hung
and
open and
President
looking
Biden,
kind of
Mike.
Every
blankly
single
into
thing he
the
said is a lie.
the ether.
Every
It
single
makes
one.
it like
For example,
that's the face of
veterans are a hell of a lot
dementia.
better
I don't know
off
how
since
else to
that's
slice it.
unpacked that.
It
You know
really
what?
1
is.
million of them now
Let's be
have
fair. When he was
insurance, and their
sharp, he was
families
even
have it.
worse.
Their
That's
families
elder
have it
abuse.
because
Like
what
they need to
happened,
just
whether it was
replace
Agent
him
Orange
with
Wait,
someone.
guys, I
They're gonna
kind of,
replace him
guys,
with
they're
I
all
kind
being
of want
Gavin.
to
covered
listen.
now.
I kind of want to
And
hear
he
it.
opposed his
I want to hear what they
a
have to
group
say.
opposed
Gavin
that.
Newsom's going to
We're
be
also
his
in a
replacement.
situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq.
I don't
Lady
think
went
so.
next to
I
one of
don't
those
think
burn pits,
Democrats
came
will
back
do
with
that.
stage 4 glioblastoma.
Oh, I hate
I was
Gavin
recently
equally.
in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He
Wait,
put it in
Biden's
commercials.
son
We
fought in
verified
World
it.
War
We had
I?
19 people that
No,
said he
he-
didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say, I'm at a cemetery?
What is he-
or I'm
what?
dead, they
Biden's
honor our
son
veterans.
fights
There's
everywhere.
no
Every
mistake.
war,
I'm
every
so
like
glad this came
like
up, and he brought it up.
Does anyone want
There's
to comment
nobody
on
that's taking
Jenny's?
better care of our soldiers
I
than we have.
definitely do. I think
Boy.
that
Think
that's
that I would, in front of
completely. I was
generals
looking
and
at
others, say suckers and
yeah,
losers.
what
We had
Jenny's
19
saying here.
people
It's
that
a
said
complete
it was
misstep. I
never
mean,
said
that's
by
all
me.
this.
It was
these
made up by him,
people
just like
do.
Russia,
Like
Russia,
they
Russia was
they
made
dance
up,
around
just
the
like the
important
51
issues of
intelligence agents
exactly.
are made
It's a
up,
corporate
just like the new thing with the
price
16
gouge.
economists are talking.
Profits
the
are
same thing.
driving
51
over
intelligence agents
50%
said
of inflation.
that the
Like that should
laptop
be
was Russia
red alert.
disinformation. It wasn't.
You know, not
That
to
came
defend
from his
Biden,
son,
but
Hunter.
inflation is a
It
global
wasn't
issue.
Russia
The
disinformation.
United
He
States
made up the
had a
suckers and
somewhat
losers.
mild
So
version
he
of
should
it.
apologize to me right
And
now.
inflation is really just a product
Four-star
of
general
capitalism.
stand
I
your
mean,
side
if
was
we're going
on
to
your
put the blame
staff. You
somewhere,
said you said it.
put it there.
Period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any
Thank you,
country
Jenny.
has in American history. American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country.
It's Ukraine.
here we go. Here we
Take them
go.
home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right. Thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President
That's
Trump.
good. This means that they're going to
Russian
come. They're going to bring up
President
Israel as
Putin
a
says
topic. I
he'll
can't
only
wait for
Let's
that.
hear
end this
it.
war if
Oh, it's
Russia
gonna
keeps
upset
the
us all so
Ukrainian
much.
territory it has already claimed, and Ukraine abandons its.
I don't
bid
think I
to
can pull
join
any more
NATO.
hair out. I'm starting to
Are
go
Putin's
pretty
terms
far.
acceptable to you?
First of all,
While they
our
talk about
veterans
Ukraine,
and our
just for a second,
soldiers
because we
can't
never really
stand this
talk
guy.
about it. We're so
They
hyper
can't
focused
stand
on
him. They think he's the
Palestine,
worst commander-in-chief,
healthcare.
if that's what you
Where
call
are you
him,
guys at with the
that we've ever had.
Ukraine
They
fund?
can't
It's the
stand
same
him.
thing
So
as
No,
we
I
should
talk
not
about
stand him.
Ukraine.
Palestine.
And they like me
You're
more than
killing off
just
the
about any of them.
Ukrainians, and it's all about
And that's
corporate
based on
greed.
every
And
single
on
bit
top
of
of that,
information.
now
As
Zelensky's
far as
thinking about
Russia
having,
and
as of
Ukraine,
today, I
if
read a
we had a
couple
real
hours ago,
president, the
Zelensky's looking
president
at
that
Wait,
knew
guys,
that
I
was
don't think,
respected by
guys, I
Putin,
don't think we should talk while
he
the
would have
debate's
never,
going
he
on
would
because I
have
feel like
never
viewers are trying to
invaded Ukraine.
watch.
A lot of people
No,
are dead
viewers
right
will
now, much
watch
more than
on
people
their
know.
own
You know, they talk
screen.
about numbers. You can
They
double
want to
those
see
numbers,
our
maybe triple those
commentary.
numbers.
Yeah, viewers, give us a
Nothing
hand.
to stop
You
it. In
want to
fact, I
see us
think he
talk over
encouraged
them,
Russia from
or do
going
you wanted?
Yeah, I just want to know. I want to know what
Just
everyone's.
as a veteran, there is nothing
Embarrassing,
crazier
most embarrassing moment in
than
the history of our
two
country, that
like
when
actual
Putin watched
draft
that and he saw
dodgers
the
talking about
incompetence,
their
that
favorite
he should have
wars.
fired those generals like I fired
Yeah.
the one that you mentioned. And so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals.
They
No
cut
general
the-
got fired
cut
for
the
the most
debate.
embarrassing
You think that was a
moment
cut? You
in the
think that was
history of our
intentional?
country, Afghanistan, where we
I
left
don't know.
billions of dollars of
I think
equipment
so. I
behind.
think it's
We
supposed
lost
to be.
13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind.
They want to hear us.
He said,
See,
"You know
John,
what?
All right,
they want
all
to
right,
keep
all
us
right.
candidates.
Give them what they want, John.
This was his dream.
Give them now.
I
Go
talked
on,
to
John.
him
Take
about
the
his
lead.
dream.
Let's give
difference
the
is
people
he
what they
never
want.
would have invaded.
Go ahead, John.
You
That's all
can
we're here
never-
for.
Just like
We are
Israel
trying to
would have
be
never been
representatives
invaded
and stuff.
in a million years by
I mean, I'm
That's why
just
I'm
gonna-
voting for Jill
You
Stein.
know why?
Oh, Karen.
Because Iran was
July
broke with me.
20th.
I wouldn't let anybody
book
do
the
business
venue.
with them. They
Would you
ran
like to
out of
come to
money.
New
They were broke.
Jersey
They had no
with
money
Jill
for
Stein?
Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why.
Yeah,
you had
I'm
no
in,
terror
definitely.
At all.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
of course.
send you.
This place, the whole world
book
is
everything.
blowing
I'll
up
send
under
you
him.
the invitation and everything.
President Biden?
Yeah, I'll be proud to
Never
be
heard so
there for
much
sure.
malarkey
And
in
we
my
need
life.
this
Look, the
at
fact
this
of the
point. We
matter is
need
that we're in a
everybody,
situation
like
now,
all
let's
hands
take the
on
last
deck.
point first.
Oh, no.
Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president.
It's both of them. Like they are both draft dodgers. When they had the opportunity to serve their country, they both ran. They both got medical excuses, all this crap, and now 60 years later, they want to send our kids to far off wars. It's insane.
It
All
really
wars
is.
neither of them would have ever served in, ever.
If you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine,
I mean,
He's-
Trump
this
has a
guy told
reputation
Ukraine
by his
do whatever
little
you
cult
want,
following
and
that
do whatever
he's
you
some
want.
kind of tough guy.
And that's
I mean,
exactly
he
what
went to a
Trump
military boarding school, and then during the war, his father paid for him not to go to Vietnam. I mean, these guys, my whole life growing up, I grew up in the 80s. I was born in 75. I was a child of these Vietnam vets. All I ever heard them say was, how much they hated draft dodgers. Trump comes along, they seem to not care about that anymore. It's crazy.
It's both of them. Like Trump's people have talked him up into, into being some military something or another. And Biden really does try to make people think, A, he's a whole generation older than he was, that somehow he's part of the greatest generation and not a boomer, draft dodging boomer. And I mean, he plays the whole thing complete with the aviator glasses. Man, you weren't in the Air Force. Why are you wearing aviators?
That's a lot of
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Because it's a show, man. It's like,
Yeah,
remember
but-
Bush on the carrier and Mission Accomplished? Didn't Bush, like,
But at least Bush was an actual fighter pilot. Bush Sr. was an actual fighter pilot.
No, I'm
And I don't.
talking
Yeah. I mean, he went the rich way too, but at least he, you know what I mean? I mean, I think he went to Vietnam, but like a week before it ended, kind of thing.
President-elect,
the
before I
reason
take
that
office on January
the older
20th,
Bush had to
I'll
go
have
in
that
the
war
army. That
settled.
was the whole story. I don't know if you
People
know
being
it. That
killed
Prescott
so needlessly,
almost
so
got hit with
stupidly.
treason. I mean, he was a big
I will
Nazi
get it settled,
sympathizer.
and I'll get it
And
settled
one of
fast
his,
before I
in
take
order to keep
office.
his wealth and not get in trouble,
And,
one of his
you have a
mythos
minute.
was he had to put his son
fact
George
is
in the
that
military
Putin is
and
a
fight in
war
World War
criminal.
II.
He's killed thousands and
Oh
thousands.
yeah, I
of
believe. I
people.
think George Bush
And
was
he
World War
has
II
made one
and
thing
Korea,
clear.
wasn't he?
He
I
wants
don't know
to
about Korea, but I
reestablish
know
what
World
was
War II,
part
and I
of the
know it
Soviet
was
Empire,
it
not just a
was
piece
one
that
of the
wants all
reasons,
of Ukraine.
they were going to
That's what he
hit
wants.
his father
And then you think he'll
Prescott
stop
with
there?
treason.
Do you think he'll stop?
And
when
you
he
saw a little
maybe
bit of the
takes
difference
Ukraine?
in
What do you
the
think happens to
mindset
Poland?
of
What do you
somebody,
think
both
happens to
wrong, but in the
What do you think
mindset of
happens to those
somebody that
NATO
was an
countries?
actual veteran
So
and
if you want a
actually
war,
served,
you ought
and
to
their
find out
children
that he's
that
gonna
get to
do
watch it on
because if in
TV,
fact he
right?
does what
When
he
we
says
had
and
Gulf
walks
War
away,
One,
by the way,
specifically, George Bush
all
said,
that
"Do
money
not
we give
invade
Ukraine
Baghdad,"
from weapons,
undermining
we make here in the
we will
United States,
create
give them
a
weapons,
power
not
vacuum
the
and
money
spend the
at this
next
point.
40 years
And our NATO
fighting
allies
here.
have produced
And
as
you got
much
George Bush that
equipment
didn't
for
see
Ukraine as
combat.
we
You got
have.
his
That's why
underlings that didn't
that's why
see
we're stalled.
combat. That's all they
Okay,
wanted. We
moving
got
on
to
to
take
the Middle
Baghdad. We
East.
got to this. We got to
In
that. We got to
October,
that.
Hamas
But with
attacked
no
Israel,
actual
killing more than
experience on the
1,000
ground. And
people,
both
taking
Biden
hundreds of
and Trump do
hostages.
that. When they
Among those
talk about
held
it,
and thought
right?
to
When they
still
talk
be
about
alive
deaths,
are
when they talk
5
about battle, when they
Americans.
talk about veterans,
Israel's
when they
response
talk
has
about the
killed thousands of
military, they
Palestinians
talk
and
about it
created
from
a
the
humanitarian crisis in
perspective
Gaza.
of people that have
President Biden,
absolutely no
you've
experience
put
with it.
forward a
Completely, yeah.
proposal to
Yeah, well,
resolve
I mean,
this conflict,
those are always the
but
people
so
with the
far
most
Hamas
money.
has not
Let them
released
rule.
I've
the
heard Joe
remaining
Biden his
hostages, and
entire
Israel is
career, my
continuing
entire
its
life,
military
talk
offensive in Gaza.
since it
So what
happened, talk
additional
about Bo and
leverage
never
will
said,
you
dude,
use
you're the one
to
that
get
sent Bo
Hamas
to
and
die.
Israel
You
to
knew
end
the
the
war
war?
was
You have 2
wrong.
minutes.
You knew
Everyone-
that the burn pits were there. You served for 40 years. You voted to send him to die.
To the
Correct.
You
Israelis
did
and
that.
Israel himself have endorsed
You could could have not voted for the war, and Bo would be sitting right next to you right now.
Stages to it.
Listen,
first stage
and
is
right, and Biden, let's talk about. I mean, he might be a feeble-old man now, but like I said before,
second phase is a
sharp as
ceasefire with
attack
additional
Biden was
conditions. The
awful.
third phase is
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was known as the gaffe
Guys, they're
machine.
talking about
Number
Israel.
one, they're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need.
You've already killed over
them. By the way,
40,000
I'm the guy that
people.
organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And so there are two different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue
Isn't
to
that
send our
wrong?
experts.
I mean,
this
is why I said that they're arguing over who is
don't have to do it.
a better friend to Israel as opposed to genocide, apartheid.
Yeah. Nothing about
but you've got to be careful for
victims
what.
and
I mean, you're
how
talking about two guys that are mainly
population
funded by
centers.
AIPAC. So what kind of debate is
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just getting back to Ukraine for 1 second.
Biden holds the record in AIPAC donations,
The
world
European
record.
nations together.
Wow.
this? This isn't a debate. This is collusion.
Or maybe more than
Political
that,
collusion.
less than us.
And the show
Why
makes
doesn't
you
he
think
call
that there's a
them,
big
say, you gotta
difference
put up
between
the
the
money
two.
like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was.
We were going out of business. How does NATO go out of business?
Yeah, what?
It doesn't even make any sense.
The U.S. taxpayers quit paying them.
More spent.
Yeah,
We don't have a
right.
choice in who we pay for.
Because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy
He
who
did
wants to get
not.
out of NATO. You're going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea
Oh
that we
my
have
God.
our strength lies
Yo,
in our
Biden
alliances
just
as well.
snitched on Trump.
There may be a big ocean. If we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe, what happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and
That was one of the
control
most racist things I might have ever heard in a presidential debate.
Poland and other places. It happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
This isn't
Someone's
funny
We
anymore.
have 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea,
I hear
because they
feedback.
understand that this kind of dislocation has a
Someone's
serious threat
echoing.
to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations.
Oh my God.
Because
that's
if you
not
add them up, they're about the same size economically.
That wasn't the question.
Their economy is
Next.
about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states?
20 years ago,
Why are you
Biden-
talking about it?
And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what
Biden
happened?
20 years ago said
Billions
that
and billions of dollars came flowing
expanding
in the next day
NATO
and the
would
next month.
absolutely cause
But
an
now we're in the
aggressive
same
Russian
position. We're
retaliation.
paying everybody's
Yeah.
bills.
Let's turn to the issue
And
of
what?
democracy.
So what did he
Former
know
President
then
Trump,
that he doesn't know?
I want to ask you about
now?
January 6, 2021.
Started making money in
Rallied your
Ukraine.
supporters that
Like,
day.
I mean, the
Some
20
of them
years in that
stormed the
difference,
Capitol.
his family, his
exactly.
connections, like, they started making money in Ukraine, and now it's
As
super
president,
important
you
to
swore
him.
an oath to, quote, preserve,
here we go,
protect,
January
and
6th.
defend, unquote, the Constitution.
I just want to make a
What do you
point
say to
that
voters who
there is a
believe that you
current
violated
genocide
that oath
going
through
on
your actions
right
and
now,
inaction on January
and
6th and worry that you'll do it again?
it was worthy of getting about 4 total
We're
minutes.
not new people
On
join
January
us.
6th, we had a
It
great
was.
border.
Am
Nobody
I
coming
wrong
through,
in
very
thinking
few.
that's insane?
On January 6th, we were
No.
energy independent. On
It deserved
January
more
6th, we
time.
had the lowest.
Not only
taxes
is the
more time.
genocide
we
happening,
had the
but
lowest
it's
regulations
happening.
ever. On January
It's mainly
6th, we were
being funded by
respected
us,
all over the
and it's
world.
worthy
Yeah.
of 4
All
minutes
over the
of
world, we
debate.
were
Where
respected.
they both
And then
basically
he comes
look at the
in,
genocide
and
and
we're now
argue
laughed
who's
at.
doing it
We're like
better.
a bunch of
Oh, it's the
Yes, Jenny.
trifecta here. You've
What
got
happened
both
to
of the
the United
candidates
States'
that wholeheartedly
reputation under
support the
this
genocide, and then
leadership
you've got the
is horrible.
the
In
interviewers, the hosts
weaponization,
that
which
are
I'm sure at some
also
point you'll be talking
hardcore
about, where he
APEC
goes after his political
propagandists.
opponent because he
Yeah.
can't
So
be a
it's, I mean, on
fair
all sides,
Hi,
there was
Tommy.
no win. This is
My
not
question was,
democracy.
what do you say
Yeah,
to
no,
those
I don't think
This is
voters
why I
anybody was
didn't want to
watching
watch
this
this
and
tonight.
they're
It just,
like
it
constitutional oath
infuriates
through
me.
your
I don't know how
actions
people
and
all
watch
inaction
it.
on
excited,
January 6, 2021,
It's frustrating.
and worry that
I'm
you'll do it again.
watching
Well, I
this,
didn't say
like,
that
make
to
fun of
anybody.
it.
I said peacefully and patriotically.
What's up,
And
Charles?
Nancy
I see
Pelosi,
Charles
if you just
A. Vernon
watched
said
the
hello.
news from 2 days
What's up,
ago,
Hi,
how's it
Tommy.
going,
on tape to her
Charles?
daughter,
Hi,
who's a
Charles.
I'll
doctor.
say
Jenny, yes,
yes,
you could
Jenny,
join us
Jenny,
next time.
absolutely.
But she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible
do.
for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor of, in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down.
What is he
I offered
talking
10,000
about?
because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people.
Looked like Biden had to fix his earpiece.
You could feel it too, and
Yeah.
you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her.
Biden
and she now
doesn't
admits
even-
that she
it
turned
doesn't
it
look
down.
good for Biden.
And it was the same day she was,
Let's be
I don't
honest.
know, he can't
Trump's
be very
leading
happy
in the
with her
polls
daughter
right
because
now.
it made her into a liar.
Well-
She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office.
His
and
voice
sat
just
there
sounds
for
so
3
creepy.
hours. 3
It's
hours
gotten
watching,
very
begging,
old.
being
What I
begged
mean, you know, he's
by his
82.
vice president
I know.
and
Yeah.
all of his colleagues on the
83 or
Republican
whatever
side
he
as
is.
well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says
So
he'll
is
not
that what they
forgive
do,
them
like,
for what they've
during,
done.
like,
He'll-
debates?
they've
Like,
been
they just,
convicted.
like,
He says he
never
wants
answer
to
the
commute their
question?
sentences and say that,
What is it called?
You know, they give them a
every
long
single
leash.
court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores
This
of
is just
cases,
like
including the Supreme Court, and they said,
bad.
no, this guy.
I mean,
this
you know,
guy
that's
is
part of the show,
responsible
Christine.
for
It's,
doing
you know,
what
that's
was done.
why people
Didn't
watch,
do a
I guess.
damn
It's
thing.
sad.
It's reality
These people
TV.
should be in jail.
You're right.
They
It is
should
reality
be the
TV.
ones that are being held
Oh, it makes
accountable.
great
He wants
entertainment
to
and
go all
absolutely
out.
terrible
He always
government.
says if he loses his
You're
job,
the
it's a
loser
whiner
and you're
idiot.
the
I
sucker.
think it'll be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent,
The way he looks at
you ought to
him.
be ashamed of yourself.
Look at that
What
face.
you've
Like you
done,
can
you've
see both of
destroyed the
them just
lives of so
screaming,
many
get off my
people.
lawn.
When they
Yeah.
ripped down Portland, when they ripped down
That's exactly what you hear.
many other cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of it, they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was
It would have
all set
been
to bring in the
rubble.
National Guard. They heard that. They
It
saw
would have
that
been
coming,
burned to
and they
rubble.
left
It would have been
immediately.
burned to the ground.
What he said about this whole subject is so off.
Minneapolis.
Peacefully patriotic. One other thing.
Minneapolis of all
Rubble.
places that are burning
Unselect
down.
committee,
right?
which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats. They destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should
Biden's
go to
82.
jail for that. If a Republican did
If
that, they'd
anyone's
go to
Thank
jail.
you,
keeping
President
score,
Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
my
The only
opponent,
person on the
Bill
stage is a
Pascarell, is
convicted felon, is the man I'm
87.
looking at right now.
Guys, we were
And the
supposed
fact
to
of the
do
matter
like
is,
drink
he's-
every
he's-
time
what
they
he's telling
interrupt
you
each
is simply
other.
not true.
We
I
should
would
turn
have
this into a
alcohol
drinking game.
poisoning
There's
by
no
now.
effort on his part.
I think it's best to start these debates already drunk. Like that's the
This is
that's the
true.
drinking game.
Turn over desks, turn them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce?
Okay, I guess I'm the only one who's not.
What's your drink of choice, Jenny?
Attack that Capitol?
I'll be right back.
What are you going to do?
I'll be right back.
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents.
Both of them are definitely criminals. Just only one of them's been convicted. Or it's just you've got one that's how do you like your government corruption, national or international, right? Like foreign or domestic. Biden is definitely a war criminal. Trump is definitely a criminal.
Going to be a success. But when he talks about
It
a
is
convicted
pathetic.
felon, his son is a convicted felon
Joe,
at a very high level. His son is
Joe
convicted. Going to be
Bass.
convicted probably numerous other times.
Terrifying.
Should have been
I
convicted
said that
before, but his
not even a
Justice
couple of
Department
minutes
let
into this.
the statute of
I mean,
limitations lapse on the most important
This is what the
thing.
two-party
Yeah.
But
system
he
does.
can be a convicted
You know,
felon as soon as he gets out of office.
They
Joe
will
can
hold
be a
us into
convicted
telling
felon
us
with
that
all
these
of the
two guys
things that he's
out of
done.
about
He's done
300 million
horrible
people
things.
are the
All of
best
the
we can
death
do.
caused at the
Yeah.
border. Telling
Oh my
the
God, we've got
Ukrainian
doctors,
people,
we've got
we're gonna want $1
engineers,
billion
we've got
in exchange for
scientists, we've got
prosecutor.
teachers, we've got
Otherwise, you're not
union,
gonna get
union bosses.
I
Fuck,
said
even
that.
a truck driver
That's
would be
quid
better
pro
than
quo.
these two
But
morons.
we're not going to do anything.
Someone with some
We're not gonna give you
experience in the
Oh,
real
anything.
world.
I'll
Change your
say this:
prosecutor
New
having
Jersey,
to
a
do with
truck
the son.
driver did get
This man
elected,
is
but
a
he's
criminal.
like a
This man,
crazy
you're lucky. You're
Republican.
lucky.
So
I did nothing wrong.
maybe
We
we don't
have a
need a truck
system that was
driver.
rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said...
No, to all
right
the
you,
truck
sir.
drivers out there
Well,
tuning
you want to
in,
respond? Go ahead. I'll give
And I
you a
just
minute
want to go back
You-
to Jenny
you
for a second.
do it.
Drinking wine. What?
I did anything
That doesn't.
wrong.
That tells me a little bit. But
What
is it
you're
red?
talking
Is
about
it
is
white? What kind?
It's
Give me
simply a lie,
something.
number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that
don't
you
have a
are still
president
charged
like
with.
the
And think of all
Trump
the civil penalties you have.
before.
How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things?
I mean, you
Having
got to hit
sex
him
with
there.
a porn star.
He just
while your
nods
wife-
like, yeah.
While your wife was pregnant. I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star.
Oh.
Number two, that was a case that was
Oh yeah, well
started
your son's a
and
convicted
moved. They
felon.
moved a high-ranking official at DOJ into the
That's a
Manhattan
good
DA's
line for the
office to
price.
start
I
that
like
case.
Coco's
That
bottles.
case is going to be
That's a good
appealed
one.
and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all
Yeah, I mean,
high-ranking Democrats, appointed people.
what Joe's
and
point,
both the
Joe
civil
Bags and
the
everybody
criminal.
else,
He
I mean,
basically went after his
this
political
is like
opponent because he
this
thought it
is
was
the
going to damage
epitome
me. But when the
of
public
late
found out
capitalism.
about
This
these
is like
cases,
what
because they understand
Yes,
it better
it
than
looks
I do,
Yes,
like,
they
late
know
and
what
stage
the
capitalism.
it
does.
is
But when
really,
when they
really
found out about
scary,
these cases, you know what
especially
they did? My
for,
poll
you know,
numbers
young
went up
people
way
like
up.
me.
You know
I'm
that 'cause you're reporting
25,
it.
and
We took in more money in the last
this
2
is
weeks
this is
than we've
shaking me
ever
to my
taken
core.
in the history
Oh, that's
of
gross.
any campaign. I don't think
I mean,
any
I could even
campaign
speak for
has ever
myself
taken
being the
hundreds
youngest
of
candidate
millions
running
of
right
dollars
now
came
at the
pouring in
moment.
because
You know,
the
I'm
public knows
not
it's a
even
scam, and
25
it's a
yet,
guy that's
and
after his political
just
opponent because he can't
I
win fair and square.
literally
Thank you, President Trump. President
cannot sleep
Biden,
at
you
night
have
sometimes
said,
because I'm
quote, Donald
thinking
Trump and
about
his
the
MAGA
fate of
Republicans
this country
are
in
determined to destroy
these
American
two
democracy.
man's
Do you believe
hands.
that the tens of millions of Americans
It's horrible.
And there's no end in sight.
No, absolutely
voting
not.
against
No,
the
because
We've
I
already
mean,
That's
ended
why we're
fight.
running, because we have
More
to push
than
him
know
what I
about what he's done,
understand,
yes.
Jill hasn't gotten on the
More than
ballot
know
in a
about
bunch
what
of
he's done.
states, and
He's got more
New
coming.
York,
He's got a
yeah,
lot of cases.
did that whole
I heard
thing.
Illinois.
He's got
Our
a whole
Green
range
Party of New
issues he
Jersey
has to face.
accounts got
I don't know what the juries will do.
shut down.
But I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard
I
any
mean,
president say that I'm going to seek retribution?
It's crazy that
You
this
ever
is
hear
what
any
we're looking
president
at.
say
I don't
that
remember
he
another
thought he
time,
had some
except
good
for
ideas?
4 years
What
ago.
got me involved to run in the first place.
And now they're both 4 years older.
Decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches.
I wish he never ran again.
And
That's not why he ran. He was offered the moon.
When, back
We
in
did.
Germany.
You're right, Jenny. We
And
did
what
not
the-
have to
and
be
the
here
young woman
politically
got-
at
I
all.
spoke to the mother.
I am
And they asked
every
him, they
day
said,
embarrassed of
what
our
do you think of
country.
those people?
I'll say this, and this is I say this to this day. This is completely a result of Democrats trying to rig their own election. Bernie should have been elected in 16. He's being in his second term right now. The world would be a very different place.
Totally different. A complete
Yeah, like he tells that story as if there already wasn't an extremely possibly the most popular candidate in our modern history already running.
Yep. I agree, Mike.
Jake, both of you
Yeah,
know
Mike's
that has been
got
totally
it on the nose there.
wiped out.
That's so true.
Yeah,
When you
Mike,
see the
we've been
sentence,
saying
it
this
said
is so hard to watch.
100% exoneration on that. So
But
he just keeps
I say this to everyone I talk to. The problem with Democrats is there is no doubt
because it was his
they would
last
rather
chance,
lose to Trump
he's
than
not
win
equipped
with
to be
Bernie
president.
Sanders.
You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate.
It's better for their brand to
justify
lose to
his
Trump than it is to win with Bernie.
His
Think about it.
presidency, he's without question.
Oh, it's better to their
what time
donors.
is
The worst presidency in the
photo
history of our
shoot? What time
country.
do we have to
We
buy
shouldn't be having
tomorrow?
a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place.
Yes, they are,
Every
Mike.
anchor has every
Yes,
reasonable
Anthony.
anchor has debunked it.
Start
And
electing
just the
working
other
class
day, it
Americans
came
to
out
go-
where it was
yes.
fully debunked.
That's what
It's
we're
time
Anthony,
for the next generation of
Nonsense
political
story.
leaders,
He
and
knows
that's
that. And he didn't run
us.
because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
Green
President
13.
And debunked. It happened. All you have
Guys,
to do is
Anthony is
vote
absolutely
at the
right.
the
time.
best
And the
possible
idea
thing you
that
can do right
somehow
now.
that's the
Do
only
not
reason I
listen to
ran.
anyone that
I
says
ran
voting
because I
for a
was worried
third
the guy
party
like
is
this
a
guy
waste
could
of
get
a
elected.
vote.
If he thought
If we get
there were
enough
good
people to believe
coming out
that,
of that far,
Yes,
carrying
would've
those,
Mike,
carrying
you're
those
absolutely
torches,
right.
and he didn't deserve to be president.
Yeah, Jill
Didn't
would
deserve to be
have,
president
right?
at all.
we have to
The
convince. We
idea
have to.
that
We
he's
have
talking
to
about
convince
all this
the
being
people that
fabricated.
this is
We
the
saw it with our
right
own eyes.
choice
We saw
because it
happen on January
is.
6th. We
And
saw
to
it
be
This
with
is
fair,
the
Mike,
this is
windows.
a
We
way
saw
that we
people
can
occupying
change
his own vice
the
president.
direction that we're
Look, there's
going
a
in.
reason why.
You're absolutely right. And Mike, to be fair, there's not a person involved in this, or five of these people here wipe the floor with these two guys in the debate.
Why?
I
They
mean,
know
it's
him well.
bad.
They
It's
serve
bad.
with him.
It's
Why are they not
horrible.
endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential
Now, of
debate.
course, the corporations have to advertise and get you to buy things.
Oh no,
All right.
they're going to be advertising for Biden. So
Are
I've
they gonna
heard.
have like commercials like they do in NFL? Like, are they gonna
Yes,
have commercials right
supposedly
now?
that is
Oh,
what
commercial
I've-
breaks in progress. We don't get the
I
commercials.
believe that any candidate running for Congress should be, by law, forced to wear patches on their suits of everyone who gives more than $10,000 to their campaign.
Yeah, they should.
That's a good idea.
It really does anger me, guys. It really does anger me that we've gotten this far and haven't done anything about it.
We do get to see commercials.
The power and have. This is your kingdom.
Commercials,
Protect it
y'all.
fiercely. Mutual of
I got my
Omaha.
Instagram
Protect
live
your
to
kingdom.
work.
Repel Family Insect Repellent is your family's
So
first
Yay.
line of
say
defense
hi,
against
Instagram
mosquitoes and
Live.
ticks. With the light deep-free formula, you'll hardly know it's there, as it delivers up to 8 hours of deep-free
Hi.
protection.
Okay, there. Now we're on the commercial.
It's mildly, tolerable.
These are just regular commercials.
Like this is just absolutely disgusting. And the questions that they get, their answer to them. I mean, did they really need to have this debate? We could have had just have them run their same talking points next to each other.
Well, I will say this. I believe that after tonight, Democrats are going to be even more afraid.
Oh, please. They're not going
It's a last-second bake sale.
They genuinely, it just feels so
Taco
different.
Tuesday.
It feels like something
meal
better
for
is
your
going
future
to come
in-laws.
out of this.
They both
It
flop.
feels like
be
we
great.
could do
So I don't
everything to
understand
McCormick by
what
your
they're
side for over
what they're
100
The thing
planning
is,
here.
Trump can't
It's gonna
flop.
be great.
He's basically a
While you're
cult
out there,
leader.
you
He
can get
could
ready
go
to
up there
move your
naked
toes
and people would
as
say,
the
what a
lake
genius
Basically,
he is.
You're
he
going
said
full
that
back on
there's
the reins
people, there
and
have been
allow an
voters
easy
who say,
transition
and
where you
no
were
one,
once
no
striking
social
on your
media
heel,
platform
you're now
for
hit your
saying
forefoot.
Jenny,
he
Let me
has
tell
said
you
that
some
he
details
could
about the V-Run.
stand in front of on the street and shoot somebody and he wouldn't lose any votes. It's true.
And he's true. He's not lying. He's not lying.
Because that's fascism.
I mean, look,
That is
Biden
what
could kill
fascism
30.
is. It's brainwashing.
Biden could unalive 30,000 children, and they'd still vote for him.
110%.
You know, like the line is so it doesn't. They're already horrible people when they took office. The fact that they continued to be horrible people is not a shock to me. Biden was a warmongering piece of crap neoliberal before he got in office. There's no other way this could have went.
Of sauce.
and Jenny, you know what? you guys see Jen's comment up there where she says everything has to be burnt and built again, starting with
Yeah,
the Constitution? I will say this. It's hard not to feel a lot of times the way she feels, but I will say that the Constitution, the one redeeming quality about the Constitution is the people who wrote it were smart enough to know that it should be changed over time. From what I understand, to Jefferson, he was someone that really believed that his generation had no right to enforce laws on the next one. So I do feel the Constitution is a great historical document in terms of we can change it, rewrite it without really burning
It can be
it.
codified. We can codify things. We can make things different on there to make exceptions.
And it also shows the fallacy of being human. I mean, there's an amendment in the Constitution, I don't know the numbers, that makes alcohol illegal. And then there's a re-amendment later on in the Constitution that says, oh, wait a minute, that was a mistake. We're gonna
Which one was that? Which was the wait.
I mean, there's I don't know if we've came to a point where we need a new document. Not that you undo it. You didn't ignore the Magna Carta, right? But as time goes on, we do need to update the paper altogether. And that may be where we are. It's gotten so far from its original, even idea that it no longer represents the people, right? This is just a piece of paper that they throw, like, name the rights that you have in the Constitution that you actually have.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's a great historical document, though. And you know what? For the time, it was very well written. It was brilliant in its ideology. If you ever read the French one, I forget what's the French one called that Robespierre helped write.
They made a lot of progress.
Came around a few years after our Constitution, after they, overthrew King Louis.
Started at any time in history.
Anyway, if you read that one, it's excellent too.
It's the 18th Amendment.
Anthony, you got three congressional candidates on here. You should be adding everybody. I'm running for Senate too, but you got three congressional candidates that you should be doing virtual events with. I don't know how close you are in New Jersey. Maybe you can be in person. But
All right, they're back up doing whatever.
Doing something.
That black families have to make relative to.
And Joe Bagg says, why codify when you campaign and fundraise off those very issues? I mean, yeah, that's true.
I was able to reduce black child care costs. I cut them in half. We got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market.
So gotta shove that in.
Considerably more to be done.
Increased growth.
Done a great deal
The advertisers in his ear are like, say growth. You have to talk about growth.
What do you say to
Because like any of us, like anybody voted for Joe Biden because of the economy. When they were running, that wasn't even mentioned. Medicare for all, legalization, end to the prison industry, to the '94 crime bill, and the nightmare wars for profit. Nobody gives a fuck about whether your rich business friends are making money. They're always making money. That's a given.
Exactly.
It's all propaganda.
Anthony, it was really nice for you to drop in and say hi.
That were ballooning.
Thanks for
coming. Yeah, thanks for popping in, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony.
Stay in touch.
Friend us all, Anthony.
Volunteerism.
But I mean, nobody. Totally. Nobody should second guess themselves watching this and ask themselves, well, should I care about these issues that they're talking about? Because it seems like everybody else does. No, nobody else does. It is all propaganda.
He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families.
Trump just again, this is the simplicity of the right. Inflation is global. Biden cannot cause inflation.
Tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore.
Go into the communities and listen to the family. They're the ones that cause most of the problems in the communities anyway.
So good. All he had to do is
they're acting like they know what it's like.
All this money that's being thrown out the window.
You remember when Trump, I don't know if he was campaigning last time or he was already in the office, but he tried to talk about shopping for groceries and thought that things cost like $25.
Millions of people.
He was so out of touch. It was obvious that he never went into a grocery store in his life.
It could be 19 and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
That's a huge propaganda project
Well,
that's
everything
been
that they're doing
ongoing.
is the worst in our history.
50% unemployment. He decimated the economy. absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there's no inflation.
Does anyone know if this stream is on Discord?
I wish it was on Discord. Maybe I can put it on.
Yeah, I can. I think I can add Discord, but I think I'd have to stop the stream to do it. We should do that.
Wait, we have a Discord app?
Make sure that they're $8,000 per person in the family.
Yeah, I'm former Anon. I'm not even live on Discord.
We really are the future.
Yeah, I live on
modernizing this.
Tell me about it.
In a position where the idea.
I don't see
I can't find
Discord
Discord on the
here.
link. Yeah, I see Daily Motion.
Than any administration has. He wants to cut the costs.
Discord's not enough.
You just get to Joe Bags first. That's. I mean, it is sad, you know.
There's a lot going on.
But eventually, people have to be shaken out of their shells, man. I mean, you know, everybody's struggling.
Oh my God! He said black jobs.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. That's what made me laugh. Black jobs and Hispanic jobs. I didn't know there was jobs for
Which
those
one of these
people.
idiots said
The
that?
country are confronting
Trump.
the devastating
Oh
effects
my
of
God.
extreme heat.
Oh, I mean that's like number one. You ever see that meme that you know what I mean? It's got the billionaire standing, and you know he's pointing over to one dude, and he's all like, "That guy's stealing all your money." Like,
Our streams are
the climate crisis.
like, Anthony, are you trying to join the stream, or are you like trying to watch?
Almost every police group.
No, he's
in the
looking.
nation
He's
from
asking to
every
like
state is supporting
where he can watch the stream. It's
Donald
on
Trump.
YouTube. I've seen
Almost
that.
every
Oh
police group.
yeah.
And what he's done to the
Before, but
black
never found a
population
link.
is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget that. Super predators was his name, and he called it to them for 10, and they've taken great offense at it, and now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities,
Nothing.
He did sign that one crime bill. He does have. He did do that. And he helped write with Kanye and Kim Kardashian. It was a beneficial bill. It was probably one of the few things, one of the few redeemable things of his administration.
The biggest beneficiary are blacks, and
Well,
that's why
Other people are saying, one person just said, I hope Newsom is getting ready. Them gaslighting us for 4 years. They're going to.
It is yeah.
much of the black population.
I gotta be honest. Does anyone object to inviting Jenny Barrett into the stream?
Hispanics. But
I think she's got a lot of good things to say.
Pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs.
Everyone's more than welcome to join.
Yeah, of course. Are you kidding?
Or was this specific to the Green 13?
Oh no, this is Terrence's birthday.
This is a party. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's Terrence's birthday. The more the merrier.
Oh well, the Terrence, you got to make
This
the
is way
call.
past my bedtime right now, guys. Like I'm only
Christina's like probably hallucinating right now because she hasn't gotten any sleep.
I'm out of it, guys.
All forms, everything, and yet during my 4 years, I had the best.
Hey, are you in New Jersey? I'm just curious whose congressional district you might be in.
Gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage.
What, Anthony?
No, or anyone.
He's been. The idea that he said.
Well, wherever they are in New Jersey, they will have a congressional, Senate, and presidential.
Yep, all across Jersey.
We will have all across Jersey. You can vote green all the way, no matter where you live.
They don't have the kind of contributors that.
No, it's pretty historic what we did as the Green Party this year.
Yeah,
and it's a big deal. Hopefully, it's a sign to Democrats that
he doesn't have the money, but now they'll be
real progressives, real leftists
are in a situation where
really getting tired of having no representation at all.
To have done something that had the cleanest water. The cleanest water.
Can somebody just check my Instagram and see if I'm live?
Out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord.
Guys, take a moment to screenshot the QR code. Check out the link tree. Donate $13.13 to my campaign, Ben's campaign, Bo's campaign,
and he didn't do a
Christina's
damn
campaign.
thing about it. He wants to undo all the.
Scan it.
The Paris Accord was going to cost.
Anthony, are you asking if we have campaign websites or
nothing, and India nothing? It was a ripoff
Oh,
of the United
we
States.
did social media. That's when we go
ended it
live.
because I didn't want to waste.
I
it
can't
because
check.
they
I
treat
can't
us
check it.
horribly.
Jenny is in
The
Illinois.
Army
Jenny,
was
do you
supposed
know
to
anything
us, but
about
nobody else was paying
Chibu?
into it.
Yeah, you should, Jenny. You should check out the
But
Greens in
everything that he said
Illinois.
just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before.
Yeah,
insulin.
the Illinois
I'm
Greens
the one that got
are
the insulin
awesome.
down for the seniors.
But I think Chiba was the only one trying to get on a congressional ballot in Illinois for this.
Programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the.
Oh, this is not a podcast.
No,
I guarantee you that.
But
we're starting one.
But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security.
Mine's every Monday, mine's every Wednesday and Friday. So every Wednesday and Friday, I'll have a podcast. Have a pretty wide variety of people on there most of the time. We definitely do lean to the to the left, but we'll have anybody on. John McAfee we had on there before he before he passed on, whether forcibly or on his own will. It was definitely forcibly, but whatever. Oh goodness, I'll give you guys a list. I think it's goofy to go through and just name off celebs and fucking people that you've had on, but we've had quite a few people on. It's a good conversation. It's a good time.
He has the biggest heart up here, and he's really concerned about
sounds dope.
Pollution.
We're gonna have to collab.
Climate. I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure
prescription
every company
drugs
in the world, every pharmaceutical company cannot have to pay. And by the way,
every company in the world he's got
So
control
every day,
over. He
millions of
just
Americans
says
struggle just to make ends meet. For many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline.
Tapper doesn't even bat an eye.
Social Security seniors will
God, I
see their
hate these
benefits
people.
cut in
Yeah,
just
it's
over
terrible.
10 years.
The whole
Will you
thing.
name
24-hour
tonight
news
one
network was the
specific
beginning
step
of the
you're
end
willing
of
to take
humanity,
to
I
keep
think.
Social Security solvent?
yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get.
Wait, they also get
18
student
years
loans
old.
taken out of their
The
Social
idea that they're
Security.
I've been proposing that.
Even less money for
Everybody,
them.
they
They're
pay
not
it.
making anything. And they
Millionaires
don't
pay
even have enough
1%,
money to pay the
1%.
co-payments for their
So no one
medication. A lot of them
not
can't
raise
even
the
pay for
cost
rent.
of Social Security for
The
anybody
struggle is
under
too real for the
$400,000
elderly, the
after
most
that, it
neglected
began to make the wealthy
populations. Like if
begin to
you
pay their fair
don't
share
grow
by
into
increasing from 1%
riches, you
beyond
deserve to
to be able
suffer and
guarantee
struggle
the program
for.
for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
They keep telling me
that one
all the
will
time.
keep it solvent, but the biggest thing will do it if we defeat this man, because he wants to
This
get rid of Social
man.
Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times. And that's what. And if you look at the program put forward
hard
by
to watch.
the House Republican caucus, that
it's hard to
supports,
know that this
in
is
fact
even happening.
want to
Like
cut
even
it.
if I
It's hard to
wasn't
believe
watching
I was a
it,
Democrat for a long time.
I know. I've been
It's
thinking the
ridiculous.
same
We
thing.
put, we, and
It's
by
like,
the way,
how was I brainwashed into being a
American public
Democrat?
has
How?
greater
How did I
healthcare
let this
coverage today
happen?
than ever before.
It happened to all of us.
As I said,
It happens to, yeah.
It seemed like we were going in a totally different direction. It seemed like we were going in a totally different direction. Like the whole Bernie thing, like, all right, that was the next, that was progress. That's where we were supposed to be going.
Yes.
And then right in the opposite direction.
Back to the Democrats rather prefer losing to Trump than winning with Bernie. Or any progressive.
Yeah, it's like I would just like dust off one of those neoliberal things. I mean, nobody had ever asked for gaff machine Joe Biden to be president. This is what gaff machine Joe Biden as president would be.
But
Like-
they keep telling us too. They keep telling us how much they hate progressives. I mean, in 16, Hillary could have picked a progressive running mate. She took Tim Kaine. I mean, it's like she wanted to lose.
Well, I mean, and it's even they know it. Like, look, John Fetterman, right? They'll fundraise on progressive policies, tactics, all of it. They will fundraise on your name and then immediately stab you in the back. AOC is a great example too.
The losers and suckers.
Yeah, I mean,
a total lie.
Imagine that Kristen Sinema was a Green Party member.
Social Security, he's destroying it because
completely
millions
true
of people
what
are pouring into our country, and
what
they're putting
Anthony's
them onto
saying. Yeah, the
Social
working
Security, they're
people
putting them
have
onto
the
Medicare,
power.
Medicaid,
We
they're
really
putting them in
can't
our
forget
hospitals.
that.
They're taking
Yeah.
the
Well, and I
place
mean,
of
look, at the bottom line,
Americans.
60% of America does not vote because of this shit, right? They look at this,
Yeah,
they look at where it's
exactly.
going, they look at where their votes have went, and they're like, fuck it, I'm out. It doesn't matter. You know, like they see it that way. But you have an option. That's what Green parties or independents are for. And it will force these clowns to move out of the way or lose.
Not being taken care of. I told
Yeah.
you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that
But no,
general.
it seems insane that this is what it came down to.
But that's what he said. He was the one standing.
I still can't, well, I can believe, but
number two, the idea that
the United States is currently funding an apartheid state to commit genocide, and they talked about it for all of 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's how much they value Palestinian lives. They didn't even bring up Congo.
That's how much AIPAC controls even the debate.
Of course, who do you think's paying for it? Who do you think's paying media?
No, the foreign policy portion is how much money are companies making abroad. That's what
There is no difference between Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah,
No
Anthony,
difference.
I agree with you 1,000%, and I think I've written this to everybody. I'm in contact with, you know what I mean, everybody in the Jill Stein's campaign as well. And if we are going to win this, we need to dominate social media. That is where we will take over, right? We don't have access to the corporate media. We don't have access to the debates. We don't have access to any of that stuff. What we do have access to is the internet and social media. That is where the win is. If we're going to win this, that is where it's going to be at.
And they want, that's why they want to ban that too. They don't control that narrative.
Got fired because he was no good. And
Yeah,
if he
they
said
try to
that, that's
ban
why he made it
TikTok.
up. But we have
They
19 people that
successfully
said I didn't say
banned.
it, and they're very highly
And if anyone is watching
Party
from New Jersey, I
moving.
could use someone to run my social media.
He doesn't
Shoot
fire
me an
people.
email.
They never fired people.
The
Bose,
promo.
number 4, Congress.
I don't think
at
they did talk about
gmail.com. I need help with my social media, please.
They were
Thank
no
you.
good.
The
Not easy to
promo.
fire people.
Yeah, send me a link. Like I may be able to help you out as a consultant, and at least get you guys started in the right direction. But it's what's going to make this.
You'll never lose us. We're gonna be here.
Ariel said, ew, why y'all watching
the most
APAC
embarrassing
animals?
moment in the history of our country.
Where is Eric?
Because we have
He's
to,
on
we
my-
have
he's
to,
on
we
my
have to
Instagram.
prove to people that there's another side to this without any rebuttal, without, they're all on, like he said, they're all APEC puppets, all three of them. The hosts, the candidates, they're all playing the same game. It's not even different sides of the same coin. They're on the same side of the fucking coin.
And the point also is clearly both of these people are losing this debate, right? There's no doubt. So the question is, why would they even air this? Why would they even,
For what we were just talking about, for what we were just talking about earlier, what Anthony was talking about, what these debates are for is for each of these men to get a couple of second clips, a couple of minute clips here and there. They send that on to their social media influencers. Their social media influencers break it up into 2-3 minute, clips, and they post Trump dominates Biden at the debates, and Biden puts on Biden destroys Trump in the debates, and they post that to everywhere, and their little underlings buy it hook, line, and sinker.
That's how bad it is.
That's what this debate is for.
Thank you, President Trump. President
Yeah, it's just to break it up for their social medias to put it out, and it doesn't matter what either of them say, as long as they get their couple of second win. Most people aren't going to sit and watch it. They don't want to listen to these assholes.
No one thinks we're
right? It's the middle of summer. They want to be doing anything else, but they will see on the clip that goes by, and that's what they see the entire debate as. Is that 3 minute clip, 2 second, it can be a 2 second clip, in a rebuttal, and it'll say destroys Biden, destroys Trump. And it's just the social media game. That's what all of this is for.
Of American history. That's a fact.
That's why there was no. Yeah, so, if you want to know what all this money was spent on, that was it. It's in advertising, it's propaganda. It really is just for their influencers.
For virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit.
Yeah, exactly. They want us to believe that this is the legitimate
single parents to be able to go back to work.
And
well, and somebody
that's why we're here to say that it's not.
Thank you, President Biden.
This is the best that America has to offer. You know, out of all of the teachers, the doctors, the nurses, the scientists, the engineers, right? Like out of everybody in America, all 360, 350 million of us, and this is the best we have to offer.
Oh, this is great. Look at them. They're wonderful.
If I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think
Oh, just dentures and Bengay.
Created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's
Guys,
the only
we're
one I know. He wants to raise your taxes
I was about to
by
swear.
4 times.
We're screwed.
He wants to raise everybody's taxes.
And I mean, here, even in the thing, it's all the way down to their ties, right? Trump's wearing a red tie and Biden's wearing a blue tie. If you want to ask what's the difference between these two guys, Biden wears a blue tie and Trump wears a red tie.
Pretty much.
What do you mean there's no difference? Just look at their ties.
They both have the flag on their pallets like a uniform.
Do you not see? Yeah, do you not see the different color and ties? Are you an idiot?
President in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Well, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about
This is insane, guys.
He will increase.
Guys, what are we gonna do?
Taxes on middle class.
We have to get Green Party. We have to get independent. We have to get real people into office.
You're right, Jenny.
I mean, this. At the end of the day, this has to happen, right? The same with the Whigs, the same with other parties that we've had. This has to happen. This is where they come in. What you're looking at here, end of the Republican Party, the neocons, right? Trump ended them. They don't exist. The Republicans are now the Trump Party. Right? Biden represents the end of the Democratic Party. This is it.
Which is going to fundamentally
after they lose here, either they completely reinvent themselves or there's other parts of the Republican Party that will break off and become more and more liberal, right? But Biden is
over time. It's happened over time.
We are the lowest.
Things move around. People like they rearrange stuff so that they can become prominent.
Even in our recent history, the Republicans started out the anti-segregationists, the abolitionists, the Lincoln Party of Lincoln, and turned into the Klan that we see today. And the Democrats were the exact opposite. This is what happens. And even in that time, you can see they came to a point where what the party and the people represented did no longer had anything to do with each other. And that's why they switched. We are looking to, this may be the end of what we knew as the Republican Party and what we knew as the Democratic Party. It's it.
Hopefully it's the end of two parties running.
You're done.
We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China.
I think we're almost to the point, and Trump is very close, where you have somebody like Mr. Beast that runs for president and has absolutely no connection to any of these, any of these organizations, these connections, and wins because of social media, and that you still do have. If we ever voted in mass, we'd destroy them. Right? There's more of us than there are of them, but yet. Again, 60 to 70% of America doesn't vote. And I mean, why would you? If this was your choice. In certain states, this is your only choice.
They're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country.
Biden's coughing every 2 seconds and sniffling like he's slowly dying in front of us.
Well, at the State of the Union, he got a piece of
what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of
super high on something. They gave him a line of coke or something before. He was just looking crazy at the last.
No, but people that have dementia have good days and bad days. Like that is the problem. Like people that have dementia have good days and bad days. Right? It gets extreme.
They need to either make voting a national holiday, election day, or you need to have a 3-day election day. I mean, it is not fair that it goes one day, 8 to 8, or take. There are a lot of Americans right now that have to work those hours.
There's people working 2 jobs. There's people having to work 2 jobs.
And there's people.
We want to make it as easy as possible for people to vote.
And there's people at the top that make. I don't want to go like weird conspiracy. That's not what I'm saying here. But when you have places that own large businesses, like you're working at Amazon, right? And the people at Amazon are more leaning to the right. They don't want you to go and vote. You're working this week, right? Your work hours just happen to always set on the voting times.
Well, that's why you need to make it a national.
Especially if you're voting for that union guy. No. You're working this weekend. All of y'all are working this
Yes,
weekend.
Jenny. Yes, Jenny.
I don't think that's a conspiracy, to be honest.
Anytime you say something that requires there to be a little bit of, to look, you know, at a bigger picture or look behind the curtain, that's the first thing that gets thrown at you is, oh, it's a conspiracy, right? The CIA is hiring death squads. Ah, it's a conspiracy. No, no, no. Look, here's a video.
Yeah, right. Here's a video
of them doing it right now
on the bottom of a death squad agreement. Is that good enough?
And we're coming down very hard.
Yeah, look, here's this, like, I'm opening it, like, on camera, I'm opening this case of weapons stamped USA, courtesy of the CIA, right? I feel like there may be funding death squads. So I was in Peru, and the local police department was attacking the indigenous tribe that was there, and I was living with the indigenous tribe. They came in and burnt down the village. I live streamed it, and the cops doing it, right? And that's what got me kicked off of Facebook. They contacted the police department in Peru, and the Peruvian police department said, "Oh no, that didn't happen." So they made me take down the video. A live stream video of it happening on screen.
Not a little bit surprised. I mean, that's obviously a huge tragedy in the loss of life. And
then go back to why, like so many people, like the guy I'm running against, Josh Gottheimer, who want to ban TikTok or have it sold to a guy like Steve Mnuchin, because Steve Mnuchin is much more trustworthy than China or anybody else. So I mean, you know, once they get it in their hands and control the narrative, that's what they're looking to do. Like Facebook, Zuckerberg is in their pocket.
And I paid essentially nothing.
Oh, 100%. What's weird about Zuckerberg is he doesn't like hide it. Like what Facebook has been bought by the government from the very beginning. It's not even part of the conversation. Just the world has straight up accepted it.
How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world? Well,
we missed most of this back half of the debate. I'm sure they said some things.
Career.
I'm sure. There must have been some good gaps.
I agree, Anthony. MTG has to go. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a nuisance to Congress, and her expulsion is necessary.
I don't know how we're going to do it. Some of these guys are really popular with their base, and that is in a way that... Oh, she's fucking despicable. She's despicable, but they're so popular with their base because they do, like... I dislike everything they stand for, but our side has to actually fight for our base, right? And like they don't do it. And I wish just if any of our guys could fight for something positive, the way that MGT stays fights for fucking anything, would be great.
Yeah.
Samsung to invest billions.
Guys, we could do this. Like, we could actually accomplish this.
Guess what?
Marjorie Taylor Greene is also, she's also proof of how powerful money in politics is. I mean, you could be a complete, excuse my language, you could be a complete fucking lunatic. But if there are special interests pouring millions of dollars into you, you can win.
Yep.
Exactly that.
Oh, right, with Bowman, like on top of just, you know, billions and millions of dollars pouring in, and then straight up gerrymandering, right? Nobody in Brooklyn's vote counts, right? That is insane.
This is going to be a record-breaking year, guys.
Or the Bronx, sorry, the Bronx. Like, just between them and the county that's next to them, the rural county that they're counted with, their votes counted. You know what I mean? 50% of the votes were not even from the Bronx.
We're a country in the world who keeps our word.
I posted the numbers. It's like ridiculous, just open gerrymandering, and they wonder why people don't think they're like say their vote doesn't count.
And here's the funny thing: come November, those 85% of the little portion of the Bronx that voted for Bowman, they're going to go and beg them for their vote, and a lot of them are going to give it to them.
What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capability?
Oh, like the Bowmans of the world. What's
Both of them,
hold on. Like, we do need to at least know what these clowns said. They're smiling, so I'm sure it's nothing good.
I think they're both trying to start a war with the DPRK.
Physical exams every year, and you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won club championships, not even senior.
I could have been wrong.
Just so y'all know, look at me in the camera. Just so y'all know.
And I do it.
I'm a member of the LGBT community. You know exactly where my mind went.
He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm in good a shape.
He knocks on wood wherever he can find
I'm probably
wood.
a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. I was willing to take a cognitive test. And
It's one of the greatest quotes in presidential debate history I've ever
Ronnie
heard.
Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House.
Like, I should have made
and then I took
popcorn
another
for
one,
this.
a similar one. And both
I
one
knock
of them
on
said they'd
wood
never seen
wherever I
anybody
can
else.
find wood.
Thank you.
Let me write that
President Biden?
down.
Please do.
You see, he is
That's got to be in a
65
fortune
and
cookie or
only
something.
225
One thing I
pounds.
wrote at the
Like
first 10
235
minutes.
pounds.
This is so
Well,
embarrassing.
6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a
So
look at what
anyway.
he says he is, and they
So
say what
anyway.
he is.
You're
Look, I'd be
infamous.
happy to have a driving contest with him.
Now they start
I
talking
got my
about who's in
handicap
better shape,
when I
who's
was
handsome,
vice
oh,
president,
God,
down to
help me.
6.
Who's
But by the
fat,
way,
who's
I told you
dumb.
before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
Think you can play golf with me?
Cap.
What are we talking about? Golf?
Now they're talking about
You
who.
know how many-
It's not far from talking about who's got the bigger dick.
President Trump,
It's
we're
coming.
going
Let's not
No,
act like
literally.
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight
Yeah.
that once all legal challenges
Shout
have
out
been
to the
exhausted, that you will
mediators.
accept the
Unfortunately,
results of this election,
not everybody
regardless of
can
who
really
wins,
relate to
and
golf. So
He
let's
looks
you will
like a
change.
say right now
frog.
that political
She looks like a
violence in
frog.
any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on
Pentagon
Twitter at the
budget's
time,
gone then.
and also my statement that I made
Oh, the
in Roosevelt, you would
895
see
No more
some of the
political
billion
violence.
dollars.
That's $1
In
trillion
addition to the
that we
speech
can
I
now
made
use.
in front of, I believe,
Oh,
the
there's a
largest
couple of
crowd
them
I've
that
ever
like
spoken
I
to,
don't.
and I will tell you,
It's
nobody
not
ever
that
talks
that
about that.
that
They talk
that
about
that
a
Biden or
relatively
Trump are
small
any
number
more
of people that
popular
went
with
to the
black people
Capitol.
than they've ever
And in many
been.
cases,
But
were
when you
ushered in
come,
by
like
the police.
Democrats will come
As Nancy
screaming at you
Pelosi
like, "Well,
said,
the
it was
Republicans
her
want to dismantle the
responsibility, not mine.
FBI,"
She
and
said
every
that
black
loud and
person in
clear.
America is all
But
like,
the
"Oh
answer is,
no, what
if
will
the
I
election
do?"
is fair, free, and I want that more than
Well, it's
anybody.
funny. How
Bummer.
long
And
has
I'll
the
tell you something.
Democrats in the Law and Order
I
Party?
wish he
When
was a
did
great
that
president,
happen?
because I wouldn't be here right now.
I mean, it
Yeah,
was always
I'm not
the
gonna.
Democrats were on the
Many
side of the
places enjoying
counterculture and the
myself. I
hippies who
wouldn't be
didn't
under
trust the
indictment because I
FBI,
wouldn't
and
have
you
been
know,
as political
and
as
then
Yeah.
all of a
a
sudden now the
opponent.
Democrats are trying to
Because he
tell us,
indicted me
you know, the FBI
because I
says
was his
this. We
opponent.
have to believe
I
them.
wish
It's like,
he was a
when
great
did that
president.
happen?
I would
Yeah,
rather
no,
have
I'm
that.
good. If they want to
I wouldn't
dismantle
be
the
here.
FBI,
I
have
wouldn't
at
be
it. That's
here.
what the
Have
The only
Black
reason
Lives
I'm
Matter
doing
March
so
was
bad as a
about
president
in Portland was in front of the
We're going to
FBI.
make
Fuck
America
them.
great again. We're a failing nation
Yeah.
right now. We're a
Crazy.
seriously
It
failing
really is
nation.
like
Now they're
living in the
openly
And we're a
Twilight
bringing the
failing
Zone.
nation
FBI
because
to
of him.
like
His
Jenny,
college
policies
it's
are
never
campuses
so
too
all
bad.
over the
late.
place.
His
Yeah, that's
nuclear
not good.
policies
Like we
are
don't need them. They like the
insane.
FBI, the
They're
CIA. What's the
insane.
other one they want to
These
do
wars
away with?
will
The
never end
IRS.
with
Like
him.
fucking
We
break
will
my arm,
drive
Department
us
of
man.
to World War
Justice.
III, and we're
Department of
closer to
Justice.
World War III
Yeah,
than
I
exactly.
just
anybody
want to
can
make a comment to
imagine.
Jenny.
The
We're
who
very,
said
very
FDA,
that,
close to
see
World
ya.
who
War
never
III,
followed her
and he's
political
driving
dream.
us
It's
there.
never
And
too
Kim
late.
Jong-un
It is
and
never too late.
President
It is
Xi of
absolutely
China,
never
Kim
too late.
Jong-un,
I am
North
not a young
Korea,
man. I'm hanging out
all
with
of
these
these
kids, man.
They don't respect him. They don't fear
We're
him.
keeping you young.
They
We're
have
keeping you
Right.
nothing
young.
going with this gentleman, and
Taking
he's
me
going to
to
drive us into
taking me to
World
the
War
game.
I'm
on
much
behalf
older
of-
than you, Bo.
You
Don't
want a
worry.
World War III.
Yes, I am.
Let him follow.
No,
How old?
I'm
What? I
These-
think
Say do what you want.
No,
There you go.
Christine.
today's my birthday.
Huge
I'm
development.
I'm
Think
42. I may be the oldest dude in the room for
Find
sure.
response.
Not
The
even
idea-
close. What do you got of your
idea.
mind?
Not even
Think
close.
of a
Not even
single
close.
major leader in the world.
I was done with high school
Like the
before you
job
even
I've done,
started it.
What they've done. Because we're a powerful nation. We have wonderful peace because of the people,
These
not me. It's because
these
of the
people
They're capable of anything.
are
They step up when they're needed.
capable of
And right
speaking on
now,
behalf
we're
of
needed.
everybody
We're needed
who
to
lives in the
protect world because their
DVRK.
own safety is at stake. And again,
They're
we wanna have a
clearly, I
war.
mean,
Just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border.
Oh my
Then
God,
we have a
dude, you
war.
are the reason that World War
President
III
Trump,
would
as I come back
start.
to you for
You
a
are the
follow-up,
reason.
The question
Like-
was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might.
Here we go.
Russia, they took a lot of
Here
land
we
from Bush.
freaking go.
They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They
Obama.
took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games like that. He knew that. He got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games.
He knew not to mess with me.
But now he's going to take the whole thing from this
I
man
mean, he
right
treats
here.
Putin like a boss, and now he's going to tell them that Putin works for him. You know how much money Trump owes Russian banks?
And he's going to take Ukraine.
No, you don't, because nobody knows.
You asked me a question before.
Exactly. No one
I
has
can't
a single
imagine how
clue.
much. And he's going to say he's the boss.
With Ukraine and
so
Russia.
good.
Because Ukraine's not winning
They
that
believe
war.
it. His
He said,
followers
I will
believe
never
him.
settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of
Look
soldiers.
at his
They've
face.
lost
Look
so
at
many
Biden's
people.
face.
It's so sad. They've lost so many people. And
He's
they've
like,
lost
what do I
those
do with this
gorgeous
one?
cities with the golden
I don't even
domes
know
that
if
are
Biden
1,000
really
years
knows
old,
what's going
all
on.
because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins?
Had
Yes or no,
nothing to
please?
do with it.
If it's
Finally,
a fair
someone's
and legal
redirecting
and
a
good
question.
election, absolutely.
No,
I would
no,
have
but he
much
hides. It's
rather
like a
accepted
lawyer's
these,
dodge. If it's
but
fair, I
the
accept
fraud
it. Because you
and
could always just say
everything
it's not
else was
fair.
Guys,
ridiculous.
I
And
am
if you want, we'll
thinking
have a
about
news
election
conference
day
on
right
it in
now,
a
and it
week.
just
Or we'll
freaks
have
me
another
out
one
for
of
a
these
second.
in a week.
I was like,
Oh,
will
God.
Absolutely. There's
I
no-
can't even believe that this is real. Like, I can't believe this is real. No, I don't. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. It's just going to
my
get like,
anxiety is going to be
until I
so
saw the
high
horrible job he
today.
did.
We're
He's
going to move
destroying our
toward
country. I would be
eco-socialism,
very happy
and
to be someplace
we're going to
else, in a
reduce
nice location someplace.
No,
And again,
we're not going to do
no
anything.
indictments, no
There's going to
political
be
opponents
public
stuff,
ownership
because it's
of
the only way he
energy,
thinks he can win.
and
But
yeah,
unfortunately, it's
these
driven up my numbers and it's driven them up
fossil
to a very high
capitalists
level because
are
the
not
people
going to be
understand it.
making bank
Let's
no
see what your
more.
numbers are in this election.
How about
is
that
over.
one? How about that for a
Let's
quote?
see.
How about
You're
that?
whining.
How about that? Write
When
that
you lost
down.
the first time, you
put that in your
continued to
pipe and
appeal
smoke it.
appeal to courts all across the country.
Yeah, we're not
Not
gonna.
one single court.
We're not gonna
Exactly.
do this.
Your
We're
clients
gonna
had
have
any
Jill
The
Stein
graphic with
win.
that quote?
state or local, none. But you continue to
Can you
promote
repeat that quote?
this lie about some
What?
other
No.
I was joking. I was joking,
There's
John.
no evidence of that at all.
No, I wasn't.
And I tell you what,
I
doubt
know. I
whether
saw you
because
actually
you're
get
such
the
a whiner.
pen.
The
Because
idea if you lose
because
again,
every
you
time I
accept
take it,
anything,
I find an
you can't
opportunity
stand the loss.
to help us in
Something
any
snapped
way.
in you when you lost the
I'm gonna
last time.
take it. That's one
We'll
thing.
be right back
Yeah,
all right, is it over?
from the CNN
really
president.
Are we back on?
Live from Georgia.
Are we back
Commercial
on
break.
commercials? Oh my
They need to
god!
go. They need to
The
go
one
take
thing
a
that we're
poopy.
learning here is that Trump is not a tough guy at all. He really is.
They gotta go. They gotta
No.
go change their diapers.
Oh, no joke. I'm sure they do. Like, if there was one thing that I could say about Biden, right? When they say, "Oh, well, what do you think he's thinking?" or "What do you think he's going through his mind?" That's the poopy face. I was a single dad of 3. I know what the poopy face looks like, and that's the "oh, I just shit myself" face. I've seen it 1,000 times. I'll look at it like, "Hey, did you just poop? Did you just poop?" I've seen that face. And Joe Biden makes it all the time. He crapped himself at the United Nations, it wasn't the United Nations, it was
It was the one with France.
that they just had. And they asked, like, "Oh, why did he make that?" Like, you saw him make the face and then run off a
He
stage.
bent over a little bit. He was like,
No, that was a deep fake AI
Oh.
video.
Well, they're not deep faking. What do they call it? Deep cut is what they're saying. That the video of him of the editing of the video makes him look like a moron. And it's one of those, they tried to do that with where he wanders off and tries to give the thumbs up to one of the soldiers that just jumped out. And it's obvious that there was a guy in front of you doing it, and he just wanders off. And the prime minister of Italy is just like his chaperone until she handed him off into Jill Biden. "Come on, Grandpa, it's fine, it's fine. Back over here with us. Just sign the check, buddy. Just sign the check."
Yeah, right. Keep making
There we go. Oh yeah, because he showed up there. Then Zelensky came in, took his $90 billion and fucked right off. Just sign the check, Grandpa.
Hey, Christina, why are you hiding from everybody tonight?
Reminds me
I'm
of
actually in bed
Yeltsin.
with my bonnet on, like, like I'm in my mattress right now, surrounded by pillows.
Who am I seeing tomorrow?
Me, my boyfriend,
"Oh my god,
John,
the
and
photo
Ben.
shoot is tomorrow." Guys, the photo shoot is tomorrow. I'm gonna.
Listen, John, it's not a big deal. It's just my photo shoot.
We're just there, and we get to get cropped out of it. We have to
I'm using
hit.
you as my extras.
Yeah, we're
And I'm saying, tell the world. We're the Green
Oh, I
Party.
know exactly why I'm your extra.
We're on a budget here, so I got to bring in other candidates to look like citizens that I'm talking to about politics.
I know exactly why I'm an extra. I know exactly why.
Why?
You don't get it.
Bo doesn't know.
Bo doesn't know. It's because I'm gay.
Hey, Bo, do you have a
Come
message?
on, that's gonna come right through in the picture.
I'm wondering.
kidding?
You're
If you can make a message for
Do you
all
see
of
the shirt I'm wearing right
Gottheimer's nobodies.
You like that? I can't believe that he said. Well, I mean, I can, but that's what he thinks of us. I mean, let's be fair. It's not just me. And he also was telling people. I'm just going to throw this out there too. He's telling people that he had to press charges against me. Not that he wanted to. He had to. I gave him no choice.
How long was this commercial break?
I was kind of hoping.
He has
It's only been what? There's 10 minutes left.
A coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
All right, yeah, let's get back into it. It's just terrible. It makes you feel bad for I feel bad for my country.
Trump in his last term.
It wasn't like I felt so much better about it when it was, Hillary and Trump.
We have to make sure that we have a fair tax
After Biden took office, if my kids weren't in college, I'd never come back to the States. Like, I'm in New Zealand 9 months out of the year. I came back to kind of help out with some campagns and stuff here, but there's nothing here for me anymore. Like, I love my country, but the people in it are just hell bent on destroying the world. I don't know how to say it. It's nice to live in a place where I can walk back and forth to the store and there is zero chance of being shot at all.
I get that. And you know what? I'm not. Let me play politician for a second. I think the people are just fine. People are people everywhere. That's what they are. It's the nonsense that these people get fed. It's the constant paranoia of bombardment from right and left, who are both bullshitting them. It's not the people. It's environment that they're
exactly.
Oh yeah, but at a certain point, I think of the civil rights leaders in the 1960s that all went to France. It's just you have to, even to be able to fight, right? I can't end up being shot in a routine traffic stop and not be able to help thousands of people around the world, right? I can't risk living in America to even speak out about Americans. I served my country. I love my country, but this is such a wrong path. And when you see this, you can see it's going to be worse.
It's getting worse.
People have for childcare.
I feel really
I can breathe the air. I can drink the water. Again, you won't be shot at all.
The younger generation, people who are like teenagers now.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump,
and starting to, at least
here's
when
the
I
closing
was.
statement. Here's the closing statement.
Hold on.
All right.
He said, we want to do this, we want to do
Get your hip waders on.
This tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China,
going to the
they
national
couldn't do business with the
convention,
United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah.
I got a 4 and a 6-year-old. I'm an old man, but this is going to take a lot of time away from my kids. I can't justify going to Chicago unless they really ask me to.
We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you. Because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world.
Wait, what does he say?
What did he say? Incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get, when you're terminally ill, Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it.
Lead fucking
for
pipes, dude. He's
42
been in
years.
office for 4
You know,
years,
what we
and
did
Flint's
for
water
Easter
is
was
still
incredible choice
poison.
for our
Yeah.
soldiers, for our soldiers.
Literally.
I'm not
Christina,
laughing, but I
guys,
mean,
They
it's
can
so
go out and
disgustingly
get themselves
true.
fixed up
Christina has
and
a
readied
Christina
up
has a
and take
policy
care of
to
themselves, and they're
try
living.
to
And that's why I had
like
the
remove all
highest
the pipes and
approval
replace
rating in the
them.
history of the VA.
Christina,
that
would you like to
These
talk
things,
about
we're a
it?
failing nation.
Yeah.
If it was
So
if it was Ukraine, they would have replaced every single pipe in that city. Like the money that we've spent to rebuild Ukraine's infrastructure over and over again. But yet Flint, you can't fix it. It's too expensive.
Exactly, but it's possible.
It's the people
both.
that live there. They don't donate a lot of money, and nobody gives a shit about them, and they're poor minorities, and that's it. And that's how that's how our politicians are, whether they're Democrats or Republicans.
Okay, well,
what the hell just happened there?
Yeah, what just happened?
It ended.
That's
Biden. I don't think he
Biden
can
didn't give his statement.
Go back.
They cut him off?
Rewind.
The president and former president making their way off the CNN debate stage. Looks like Jill Biden, the first lady.
Biden gave
has
his
come out.
first.
Former
He
President
talked
Trump
about
walking
lowering
off the
health
stage.
care. He said
The
that,
first lady of the
Trump's going to raise your
2024 campaign,
taxes.
the earliest presidential
It's one of
debate
those, like, he
ever
keeps
now
on
in
saying,
the
oh, it's
books and in
$30
front
a
of
month
the
for
voters
insulin.
tonight.
What
We'll
happened to
look at
Medicare
Bernard
for all?
Word on what those voters
Why
might
did
make
why
of it
did
from
Trump
our
just
political
storm off?
professionals from
What
our
happened?
CNN Flash poll.
That
and
just
the swing
ended.
state focus group. We'll be talking to surrogates, including Vice President Harris.
It's over. It's over. Fuck, I was hoping they'd fight.
Biden's up there hanging out and getting a hug from his
Oh,
wife.
he doesn't. Biden doesn't know how to leave a stage. That's like his number one problem. He may end his career just. Yeah, he might end his chances right here, just wandering around the last room trying to talk to Jake Tapper.
Right now, as we speak, there is
Dude, get off the fucking stage.
and a very aggressive panic in the
Get
Democratic
off the stage.
Party.
Get off the
It started minutes
stage.
into the debate, and it continues right now. It
His
involves
earpiece,
party
his handlers are like, he's
strategists,
gone
it involves
rogue.
officials, it
Guys,
involves
this is genuinely
and they're
so
having conversations
embarrassing.
about the president's
So
performance,
embarrassing.
which they think was dismal,
All right,
which they think
so
will hurt other people down the party.
it's
in the
over.
ticket, and they're having.
It's over. Let's talk it out. Let's talk.
We'll see.
Why am I
We made
like
it.
this?
Why am I this big right now?
I'm this big right now.
Everybody's this
Yeah.
big right now.
What are we doing?
Ben, why
Ben
are
is
you
the
the big
largest.
one?
Now
I
Ben
don't
is
know.
the
Yeah, it's not letting me change that for some reason.
yeah,
We can.
right. Woo.
Hang on,
Hey,
let me just.
listen. I'm gonna sign off and thank everyone for
There we
having
go.
me and all that good
There
stuff.
we go.
But I'm gonna see if I can get a little last minute time with the wife while the kids are sleeping and say
All right.
goodnight.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.
right.
Like I said, I'm on every Wednesday and Friday. So if there's ever a time you want to get some news out, if you ever need some help with your campaign, feel free to jump on and we'll have a good talk, get you a good interview out there. If nothing else, the same way that I was talking about them and you were saying, that you needed help with social media, that's part of the game. Come on, do an interview, get your talking points, those really good moments that you have in the interview, right? Take that 2 minutes and put it out on
like social media, yeah.
Did he freeze to everyone?
You
or
don't
just
have to
me?
finish what he was
froze
saying.
to everyone.
He froze. Don't be.
So just let him know that I was already on. I will be there. Let's just put it that
We
way.
have a problem.
And good night, Joe Beggs, Jenny, and everybody
Good night,
else that came
Bo.
on. It was a pleasure.
Good night, Bo. Great to see you.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.
It really, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I feel like it was not.
This is the quad.
This was sad. I think that there's two main points that I can make about this. One is the propaganda that they are trying to push.
Yeah.
Is very apparent, and the direction that they're trying to move politics is pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
Number two, I would encourage any investigative souls to rewatch the whole thing and
I'm rewatching.
Imagine you're listening and watching to this, but you're an AIPAC lobbyist. The reason I say that is because they're making points not to people. They're making points to lobbyists.
Yeah, of course.
Well, the one thing that I got out of this entire thing is that organizing is very serious for the working class people. And there's a lot of work that we have to do as candidates that is going to motivate the 70% of people that aren't voting. So we also have to just flip the people that do vote, but we have to encourage people to get out of their house and come vote.
Yeah. We need, listen, to everyone who is watching out there, I want these to be my final words. This is the most time to involve yourself in politics. This is such a crucial time for you to get involved. Reach out to us. We are always responding to everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter who you are. We care, we hear you, and we want you to continue to be heard. Okay? And we're fighting for you. We want this. We want a better future for everyone here. Okay? That's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, John said it exactly right. We are not better than any of you. We aren't special at all. We are. We're all the same.
We're all working class citizens. We're all working.
And
we all have jobs.
I know that, at least for me, sometimes I don't feel like I can just message a political candidate on an app. But you can, and please do reach out to us, talk to us. Even if you just want to say, hey, keep fighting the good fight, do that. I mean, anything that you guys want to say, we want to hear.
We want to hear every last word. Because we actually care, unlike these people who are in office doing nothing every single term. Every single
and might I add, all of our opponents for the Green 13 here in New Jersey are all trying to replicate this. They're emulating these presidential talking points, if you can even call it that, to be honest. It's really just a shit show, and that's what they want to replicate. So don't vote for that.
Don't vote for that, everyone. Definitely not. But Christina, do you have any closing remarks?
The only thing I'm just going to say is we have to think about organizing and just reaching the voters, because the only way we're going to change is getting the people to come out and change. So it's, how do you give hope to the hopeless on such a large scale?
Exactly. Guys, screenshot this. Screenshot this.
I used to really be disengaged with politics. I studied political science at my university, and I had the degree sitting around, but I felt so disenfranchised from politics that I just put it away. And
I was the same way.
I've
studied political science as well. That was my major. So like I know, and it's just like, I mean, personally, when I was in like my studies in political science, I was so focused on remaining non-biased and always like seeing the truth. And that's exactly what we represent. We represent the third side of the coin. We are that third side of the coin that is the literal truth of what we truly need. It's not just a belief, it's not just a political affiliation. This is what we need to be as a people, and just love one another. That's all I'm about.
True.
Sorry,
that.
That's so deep.
You guys have been following me for a while, and I just want to say Ben and John, they're like legit, and they're the real deal. They're very ethical. They're honest. They're authentic, and the amount of work that these two do in the communities, and they overwork themselves, in my opinion. But we have to in this election time.
What time is it?
John overworks himself.
10:45. John sometimes doesn't even go to sleep, but I do recommend that you guys give them a follow, donate to them, help them in any way, shape, or form that you can.
Guys,
and I recommend that everybody go to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to head out now.
Being a grassroots organization and grassroots candidates, last thing I will say, we literally, like, for me, like, I'm just so focused on this campaign and so focused on, like, winning. And so I'm throwing all this stuff on me because I love it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And donate to them, guys. Donate to Ben. Donate to John. donate to them because we need donations in order to
We
move
need
forward.
donations. Donations are literally our biggest thing right now.
That's really cute that he printed that out. But scan it.
Yeah, Jenny.
It's laminated too, guys. Guys, look, it's
I
laminated.
love it.
Guys, I make my own stuff.
I understand that, Jenny, like really just being, I mean, I kind of had to, though. You know, this was Trump's first election. Like, you had to be an explicit anti-fascist, you know. So, but when it comes to what we're able to do now, it's been shown, like, organizing, they're going to try to shut it down at every possible turn. So we need to just be real with each other and yeah.
Period, Ben Taylor.
Period.
All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Remember to donate. Check out their website, Ben Taylor, John Sereno.
Also,
and give them a follow.
The podcast.
Oh, yeah, we have a podcast coming up. But first, let's get the trailer going before we start advertising that one to people.
It's just a sneak peek, you guys. Only you guys know about it. I'm not good at keeping secrets.
Yeah, we're all clowns, and when we're awake, when I'm awake, when everyone's attentive.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good show because what the hell is going on? We're live on YouTube, so I don't think we can say the F word, can we?
We've been saying.
There's already been a few.
There's been a few F-bombs, I fear.
You guys are gonna get me canceled before I even get started.
Whatever.
Girl, you were already.
Anyways, thank you. Yeah, again, thank you, Jenny and Joe and everybody else. Anthony, very good points made. Great to have
everyone who was in the chat and active in the chat, dope. You guys,
super dope because you guys have tons of perspectives that we don't have.
Yeah.
Spread the word. Tell everyone. Green.
Go green or go home.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.